What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to No Huddle. No timeouts, no excuses. Tonight, we're not going to waste any time again, just like always. We have three big, powerful moves to break down this week. Patrick Mahomes locked in with Kansas City. Myles Garrett and the Rams going all in. Sean Payton getting locked in by Denver. Then we're going to go quick fire around the league with the Colts injury watch, Joe Burrow creating cap space, the Patriots and Chargers signing their first rounders, in Seattle, watching Zach Charbonnet for the week one possibility of him being there for that game. I want the chat involved early tonight. Which move changes the league the most? Mahomes, Garrett, Payton, or one of these other injury stories that we're going to talk about? Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications, drop your team in the chat, and let's get it started. What's up, everybody? What is going on? What is up? What is up? Welcome back, everybody, to No Huddle, where we cover all 32 NFL teams on this channel for this show each and every week, coming to you on Friday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time, unless it's a holiday weekend. Those days are coming up soon. So if you noticed, I do this show is broadcast on YouTube. It's broadcast on Facebook. It's broadcast on Twitter or X. And I just started last week for the first time. Now I'm on Twitch. So anybody that has any one of those can now see it on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv 401_Raider_Jeff. I'm going to be doing a little bit more with the Twitch thing because I think at that point I can do what they call blurps. So I'm going to be working on that too. So trying to come up with new ways to have some fun on the shows that we do and everything. So this is going to be some fun going forward from here on. Excuse me. So welcome in, everybody. Whatever team you're repping out there, make sure you drop it in the chat what team you represent or what team's your team. I know majority of you guys in here are Raiders fans. So before we really get rolling, let's hit the chat up. Let's see who's in here with us tonight. So I see my guy Sacktown Mike is in the house. AO Anthony's in the house. Brother Yaya's in the house. Jack Gustav's in the house with us tonight. PNW Mark Raiders is in the house with us. Let's see. Frank Webb is here. What's up, Frank? JP's in the house. What's up, my guy? What's going on? Let's see where we got here. We've got Alex in the house with us tonight. 401 Broadcasting Company. Yeah, Jason Downs always calls it Eagles. It's 401 Raider Jeff Productions. So we're getting to that point. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're growing. We're growing, and we're growing fast, which is good. So everything and anything I can do to get the word out. I appreciate everybody that does what they do when they're in the chats. My moderators promoting stuff. Like I see Anthony putting up some stuff here. I appreciate you, my guy. Putting out there the fourth wall, which is my merchandise store, which has my personal branded stuff. It has something for Coast to Coast show. It's got hats and shirts on that. Raider Nation Voices has hats right now. This show, No Huddle, has a hat. So those are the shows that I have merchandise for, because those are shows that basically I kind of have the controlling aspect of those shows. I don't have anything for the Most Notorious or the Raider Connection because those aren't my shows. The Raider Connection is Leo's, and the Most Notorious is a combination of Will, myself, and Leo. So I'm not putting those on there. So I'm just doing stuff that's under my brand. So if anybody wants one of those, that's the link that's in the chat right now. So make sure you guys hit that up. It supports the show, and it allows me to do more things. Especially when I'm out and about, like this season, going to Vegas for the home opener. I'm going to be able to grab a lot more content, try and go live whenever I can to really bring my experience going to the first home game for the Raiders for me in Vegas, and then following that up with, if everything goes the way it looks like it's going to go, being in LA for week 2 against the Chargers. So I'm really looking forward to this upcoming season. And before we really get rolling, I just want to give another shout out to a gentleman that we lost in the last week, Robert Pena, who always was in my chats, was in a lot of our chats in the content creator world. Extremely respected by everybody in the chats and all the content creators. As you can tell by the past week, with the amount of content creators that actually did shows regarding Robert Pena, or in tribute to Robert Pena, like we did Sunday night, Jason, myself, and Duncan. We did a show strictly talking about him and what he meant to all of us. So I'd be remiss if I didn't bring him up again tonight. This is my first solo show since his passing. So I just wanted to bring that up. That rest in peace, Robert Pena. We love you. We miss you. And prayers to your family. So we miss you, brother. Excuse me. James Furpo's in the house, so I've got to hit him. I can't do that on this show, actually, because this is not a Raiders show, so I can't hit you with the Raiders, but I do respect you popping in here and doing that. But thank you, Furpo, for being in here. I appreciate you, brother. And yes, rest in peace, Robert Pena, for sure. So we're going to get right into this then. So let's start talking about what's going on around the NFL. So obviously the big news last week was the Myles Garrett trade from Cleveland to the Rams. So what we're going to do is the NFL just kind of shook everything up with some bigger moves this week. Not bigger moves, but some decent-sized moves this week that really moved the needle on what's going forward with the NFL. So the biggest name in football, obviously, is Patrick Mahomes. He's still that guy, whether people want to believe it or not. If you're not a Chiefs fan, rest in peace, Senor Pena. Adios, amigos. Tony Bova's in the house. What's up, Tony? One of my fellow chapter presidents for the TBH. What's up, my guy? So we're going to start with Patrick Mahomes. So Kansas City's locking him in till 2033. So this is a big move for KC. And with us, as a lot of people in here are Raider fans, this means a lot to us too, in a way, because that means we got to deal with him for the next 6-7 years still as a Chief, unless something happens between now and then. So they locked him until 2033, and again, it's not just a contract. This is a franchise statement. This solidifying the guy that's meant so much to that team. Yeah, definitely my opinion. What's up? Welcome in, my guy. Yeah, definitely a no-brainer for them to sign him. So they're basically saying as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the building and upright, their Super Bowl window is going to be open. So that's why I don't count them out this year yet. So this is a big move for them. This is a big move for the AFC West too, because it just solidifies that caliber quarterback of Mahomes for all this, for another 7 years, basically. And again, how do you argue with them locking him in? You can't. I mean, it's a no-brainer for them, just like you said. When you have that guy at quarterback, that's meant so much to your franchise, that's revitalized that team. Since he's been there, he's revitalized that team, the fan base. You do what you have to do to keep him here. So now this contract that he has now, where is it? Where's my notes on this? All right. So he's locked in till 2033. It's a reported value of a total of $504.75 million. So he's now his contract is the highest ever. Okay. So he's got $500 million is what the total value of his full contract is. So his average per year is going to be about $63.1 million. Reported fully guaranteed of $150.25 million. That's a lot of money, but that's how much they believe in him. So his projected guarantees are $397 million. That is absolutely insane. Okay. He's getting practical guarantees around $397 million. That's more than what Tom Brady's getting for his contract with Fox. So if you think about that, or CBS, whoever he's with. So right now, I mean, is it a cap concern? The reported cap hit gets extremely heavy, including the projected $90.3 million cap hit for 2027. And cap number is above $80 million through 2019. So again, that's the Chiefs saying we're not playing games with the quarterback market. This is our guy for the next however many years, well, their next era of football. But here's the other side of this. When one player carries that kind of a cap number, the front office has to be perfect with this. You need your draft picks of the future to hit. You need mid-round guys to become starters, because when the quarterback takes that much, you can't keep everybody. All right. So what the Chiefs did what they had to do, but now the pressure shifts from Mahomes to the front office. So the front office has to keep adding pieces to this puzzle that's going to be cap friendly and under budget to be able to keep affording this contract. Or before you know it, they're going to have to either restructure his contract or they're going to have to ship him off for something else. So again, this is still a big move when it comes to the Chiefs, and it means something to Raiders fans, Chargers fans, and Broncos fans, because guess what? Mahomes is here to stay for a long time still. So we're going to deal with this jackass for a little bit longer. But, hey, what are you going to do? I see Kenneth's in the house, my guy from Texas. What's up, my guy? My Houston Texans fan here. James Furple and Froggy. But Froggy, if he doesn't get ref calls, it shows he can be beaten. Raider Nation. Yeah, I won't disagrry. What do you think of JPJ being childish? I haven't heard anything on that. Everything I've been doing for the last day or two has been gathering all the information for everything I'm talking about tonight. So I didn't really go like Raiders heavy. Actually, I don't even have any Raider notes on this for this one tonight. This is all strictly other teams in the NFL. What's up, Alec? What's going on? What's up, Dave? What's going on? Let's see who else popped in. I thought that was it. Let's see. Rams big game could be for key injury. Oh, absolutely. We're going to talk about the Rams in a second too. Let's see, many years of beating Broncos, hopefully. Yeah. So that pretty much takes care of the, but still, the Chiefs are still basically they're still loading up if you think about it too, because it wasn't just Mahomes this past week. So on top of the Mahomes thing, Kansas City wasn't done there. So they also brought back L'Jarius Sneed, okay, and they moved offensive tackle Wanya Morris to Atlanta for they traded him. So this just tells me that the Chiefs are still adjusting their roster, but they're doing it in real time. They're doing it as they see the need in the moment, and possibly, for the future of the organization too. Again, this is what great organizations do, and you can't deny that they're not a well-run organization. They are. They've got Super Bowls to prove it, and they got players to prove it. So they don't wait until the problem becomes a disaster. They look at that roster, the money, the depth chart, and they make moves before training camp even starts. So they've made some good moves. They brought back a familiar face in Snead. Morris trade gives Atlanta depth, but it also gives Kansas City roster flexibility. So if they see a lineman that they want to go for, they can go out and get them now. Again, this is the difference between reacting and operating with a plan. Kansas City still operating like a team, that expects to be playing deep into January. And I firmly believe that they're going to be right back in the mix of things. If Mahomes comes back to his true past form from this knee surgery and this knee issue last year, they're right back in the mix of things. Whether we want to like it or not, we've got there's no choice. They're going to be just as good. Don't forget, they've added some pieces too. They brought in guys during the draft. They brought in linemen. They brought in defensive players. They brought in Kenneth Walker. So now they've got a legit running back that they haven't had in a long time. So that adds to it. Kelsey's back again. As much as we don't like him either, he's still in the fold. It is said that is why the Raiders O-line coaches don't like him. I'll have to look into that now. He may be on the decline, but he adds that veteran leadership to the team. And sometimes that's more valuable than you think it is. That locker presence is huge too. We're going to cover something else later on that explains the presence of a player in a locker room. So we're going to bring that up in a minute. Let's see, Mahomes gets raised on extension to $64 million per season. Yeah, it's ridiculous how much he's getting for that. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Rams go all in with Garrett. So the Rams are doing Rams things again this season. We all know how much they don't really value that first round pick. They're very comfortable in trading it away or doing what they can. Yes, thank you. Bueno, welcome in. For those of you that don't know, Bueno texted me the other day. His dad passed away suddenly. There is a hang on, I gotta bring it back up. Hold on, guys. There is where the heck did I put it? Oh, I apologize. Give me a second, guys. I feel bad now because I was supposed to have this ready and I didn't. This is my fault here, big time. Shit. Oh, God damn it. Where did I? He's got a Bueno. If you've got the link, drop it. I can't find the damn thing right now. Why can't I find this? There is a GoFundMe for Bueno's dad right now. Shoot, I had it. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. That's the one thing I forgot to set up for this. I apologize for the hold here, guys. Give me 1 second because I want to get this. Oh, that's where I put it. It is in there already. Okay. I have it. Let's see. Share it. I'm going to put it in the chat. All right, here it is. There is a GoFundMe for Bueno's dad to help with the funeral expenses because this was a sudden thing. They weren't obviously expecting this. So shout out to you, Bueno. I'm surprised you're here tonight. I know you said you were going to be taking some time off, but much love and respect to you, brother. Again, like I've told you in the text message when you and I talk, if you ever need to talk or whatever, I'm always here for you. You've got my phone number. You just call me. It doesn't matter day or time of day, whatever. You just call me. So yeah, our condolences to Bueno. So the link is in the chat. That is for Bueno and his family to help offset some of the costs on this, because again, they weren't expecting this. So how do I continue from that? I'm sorry. All right. So we'll go back here. Yeah, rims are so freaking good. I know what be a Raider. Yes, condolences. Oh, Alec, I didn't know that, man. No, condolences to you, my brother, too. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry for you and your family's loss. I lost my dad back in 2010, so it'll be 16 years that he's been gone. So it sucks. It really does. As we get older, the generation that we looked up to, that we grew up, they start going on. And for me, I was always the oldest on my side of the family as a kid growing up. I just never realized that I'm this close to being like the patriarch, I guess, or what he was saying, or the eldest member left in the family. The only one that's left now is my mom. So once she goes, I'm the eldest on that side of the family. Everybody else is, younger than me, or they're all gone. Let's see. What's up, Hobo? What's going on? Let's see. Eric, what's going on, Eric? Let's see, where are we here? Thank you, guys. I'm lucky to have you all. I'll be back stronger than before. If you can't donate, don't worry. You can send your prayers. We got you, brother. I told you. What's up, Jay? From Just Raiders Babies in here. What's going on, my guy? You know what it is. I mean, it's all love in this, man, with everybody in the chats for whether you're a Raiders fan or not, or whatever team you're at. You guys have been around, some of us, for a while now. So, this is going to be my third year doing this YouTube gig, starting in August. So I'm coming up on 3 years now. So I've got to know a lot of great people in the chat, plus people I've done shows with, shows I watch. I've met so many in person. It comes this season, I'm going to get the chance to meet even more in person this time, between going out to Vegas, going to LA, people coming out here for New England for the Patriots game, and then New York City on Halloween weekend for the Jets game. So there's more chances for me to hook up and meet up with more people from the chat and other content creators, Yeah, Kenneth, you're awesome, brother. We appreciate you being in here too. Tokyo Raider, what's up, my guy? Welcome in. Let's see. Bueno Consoles, my brother. My thoughts and prayers to you and your family. Yes, thank you, everybody, for doing that for Bueno. And if anybody needs the link again, hit me up. I'll send it to you. I sent it around to a few different people also when he sent me the link. So, all right, now I got to try and get back into this now. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to have the full Raider connection out there on Jay, are you going to Vegas or just LA? Either way, we'll all be together either way, so that works out. So we're going to go back to the Rams now. So again, where did I leave off? Let's see. Yeah, the Rams made one of the biggest moves. I think pretty much everybody that's a fan of the NFL in general, biggest move this entire offseason, if not for probably the next couple of years to come, unless something else happens. Myles Garrett is by far one of the best, if not the best player in the NFL, regardless of position. He's the most sought after if he was going to be available, obviously. In this case, it was a trade between the Rams and the Browns. And I think both teams kind of made out on this deal, if you ask me. So I think Mahomes is making roughly 20. Wow, that's insane. 250,000. So yeah, I just looked this up. I didn't even go that far. Wow, that's pretty good. Thank you. He said Mahomes is making roughly 250K to 340K per actual on the field minute on the new contract. Could you imagine that? So that's 60 minutes of game time, and he's getting paid that amount of money for those. Jesus Christ, that's insane. What he's making in a minute None of us will probably make it an entire lifetime. Let alone, well, what he's making in a minute, we ain't making in a year unless you're doing something illegal. Let's see. Yes, sir. Just Vegas. I can't get the time off like that. Well, maybe, I don't know, be a home opener for sure. All right, cool. So we'll definitely be able to hook up then while you're in Vegas. Yeah, so then all four of us will be out there. Ooh. We might have to do something. We got to do something while we're all out there. What's up, Lucky? What's going on, my guy? This is why I hate the Rams. Every time I bet on them, they lose. Every time I bet against them, they win. The actual playing time is only 11 to 15. Oh, all right, true. So, all right. So his actual physical time on the field, personally, okay. Yeah, but still, that's still a ridiculous number if you think about it. That's nuts. I wonder what it would be for the full 60 minutes. Like, how much is he getting paid per game, basically? What his game paycheck is. So, all right, getting back to Myles Garrett. Again, this with the Rams, this isn't they just added a pass rusher. I mean, they added a game changer. They added, a perennial Pro Bowler, All Pro, actually, not even Pro Bowler, perennial All Pro, always leading in sacks for the most part. Just broke the record last year for the most sacks in the season. So when you bring in a player like Myles Garrett, the expectations change immediately. You're not talking about maybe sneaking into the playoffs or, you're talking about them chasing the Super Bowl and possibly pulling it off and winning the Super Bowl with this type of caliber. And it's still not a dead issue yet, but there's still rumors floating around about Aaron Donald. So even if he does come back, and I discussed this last week, even if he plays like a mercenary role for them, where he's not out there on every defensive snap like a Myles Garrett will be, where he comes in spot situations and such, that's a game changer too, right there. You're not going to bring him in at age 34 or 35 expecting him to be out there for every single snap on the defense. But either way, he's still going to consistently add to what that defense can do. And it's a nightmare to try and plan for these guys. So, I mean, the real conversation is Myles Garrett's elite. There's no two ways about that. So his actual contract breakdown, now I got that here too. All right. So they restructured his contract since he came over last week. So it's still structured as a 5-year contract, which is what he had just signed last year with the Browns. Reports vary between about $204 million and $208 million over 5 years. So his 2026 salary bump, his salary reportedly increased to $37 million fully guaranteed for 2026. Okay. Guarantees are reported at $99 million guaranteed through 2028. So that's still an insane amount of money what they're paying him. It's crazy to think, what they're definitely in. They're all in to win this. There's absolutely no two ways about it. They wouldn't have made this move if they didn't think that the team was set up to possibly have a legit Super Bowl run, if not win the damn thing. Okay. They've got an offense that can put points on the board. So you're asking your defense to just, hold the opposing offense to X amount of points and we'll outscore them. That's something that we haven't had the luxury in the NFL for a lot of teams. A lot of teams don't have that ability to put points on the board with their offense to where their defense can just kind of set that bar at a certain point. If they can hold the team to, like the Rams, if they can hold the team to 14 to 21 points a game, they're going to win a shit ton of games because they can put plus 21 on the board very quick with that offense, provided Stafford stays healthy. And therein lies the question with the Rams on their offensive side. They've got the weapons and the skill positions. Everything hinges on how well Stafford stays erect and on his feet, basically, not on his back getting beat up and slammed around back there. So this, again, was such a huge move for them. Okay. So sticking with the Rams. So I put here, Garrett gets his Rams money. So sticking with the Rams, McVay canceled the rest of their mini camp. All right. He canceled their mini camp and he ended the offseason program early. It sounds like a small thing. But this tells me something, that he believes he believes in this team, or he believes he knows this team. He believes he has veterans, and he believes that the work is already in the right place. Some fans will like it. Some will say, keep them fresh. Trust the players, trust the program, trust the process. You hear that all the time, trust the process. Other fans might say, hold on, you just made a monster move for Garrett. Now you're stopping them from gelling as a team. Garrett doesn't need mini camps and OTAs to be ready. He's that good. Okay. He doesn't need lengthy time to get ready to play a game or to move on to a new team. He's the type of guy that can just walk in and have an immediate impact regardless. Doesn't even matter what they're running for a defense. He's that type of caliber play. He's a once in a lifetime generational type talent. Okay. He demands that respect on the field. Look what he did against the Raiders last year. Granted, our offensive line was that great, but he treated our offensive line like they were a bunch of kids in a playground, and he was just pushing them around like it was nothing. So to me, this also says to McVay, he's confident, or about McVay, he's confident. Confidence only looks smart if the team's, if the team starts fast. If they start slow, then this will come back to haunt them. Or somebody will bring this up that, well, they canceled OTAs, or he canceled the rest of mini camp. That might have cost them, some extra conditioning time and such, whatever. If the Rams come out rolling and nobody questions it, whatever, nobody will even think about it. But if they come out sloppy, people will come, like I just said, they'll come back to this and they'll say, well, that, they canceled the rest of mini camp. So, I mean, that could have had an effect on this. But I don't think that. I don't think that at all. No, let me catch up with the chat here. Let's see. Where are we? Yes, sir. I always wanted to record a show on a person. Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that. I don't see why not. Let's see. What's up, Dennis? What's going on, mate? Let's see. Can we start hearing about some births in the family? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, my grandson turned a year old on May 17th. Is that Jay? How? When's your birthday for your kids? Chewy, what's up, Chewy? I see you in here, brother. Let's see. And this is what I said the other day too. I said it on Tuesday night, I think it was, with Will and Leo. Hug your family members. Say you love them to your family, to your kids, to your spouse, to your mom, your dad. Because before you know it, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Just like you said, tomorrow's never guaranteed. I wake up every morning and I'm like, oh, okay, I made it. This jackass is still alive, while other people are out there moving on. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, Big Lux in the house. What's up? What is up? What is up? What's the score of that game? I don't even know. I know it's on, but I can't have it on. Tanner Jack, what's up, my guy? You know what? I don't know about the Rams offensive line. I haven't heard anything bad about them, so I will say that. I mean, they looked pretty decent last year. Kenneth, our lives have a starting date and an ending date. It's what we do in between that matters. Yes, you said that the other day too, and I agree with that 100%. That was a great take on that. I absolutely like that. See, my granddaughter just turned 3 on the 8th. My daughter turns 27 on the 13th. Oh, there you go. See? So happy birthday. So we're going to move on now. So we're going to move on from the Rams talk. We're going to go to the Broncos. Notice this talk today is it's AFC, NFC West, because that's where some of the biggest moves are being made, and in two of the toughest divisions in the NFL, to be honest with you. So you've got 3 teams in one division being the NFC West that are really good teams and always vying for a playoff spot. And then you got 3 teams in the AFC West that are really good and always vying for a playoff spot or in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Raiders are not one of those teams. It's always the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. And on the NFC side, it's the Rams, the Cowboys. It's the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. Arizona and us are kind of like down here, we're still splashing around in the mud pile, just we're having fun, until we find our way. So, yeah, I didn't put that in here, but yes, if anybody didn't know, Henry Ruggs' parole got denied, so he's going to wait another year for either his release date or early parole through his time served. So he's definitely not getting out in time for this season at this point now, unless something changes, but I don't see it changing. So I said it before, I hope Rob Leonard can install Mike McDonald defense into play, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to have for a team this year for sure on the Raiders. But moving over to the Broncos, they commit to Payton. Okay, Sean Payton is going to be there for a little bit longer now. So here's another person, not really a player, but a coach in this case, that we're going to have to deal with for the next few years. So he's now extended till 2030. Okay. And again, this is actually, it's major AFC West news, and it's another team making a commitment to this time a coach in a long-term basis. They're not talking or flirting with any type of reset. They're not wanting to see if this thing fails, or falls apart. They're saying Sean Payton is the guy, and he's proved it since he's been there. He's taken that team and he's turned them around. He's brought in players to move them forward and do what they wanted to do. So for years, that organization felt like it was spinning. They had quarterback questions for the longest time. Since Peyton Manning left that team, they've had quarterback problems. So they kind of seem to have solidified that now, provided Bo Nix comes back 100% healthy too. So that's still a question mark. They've had questionable coaching. Josh McDaniels was part of that. There's so many different coaches that have come and gone through that organization over the last few years. Identity questions, just like the Raiders. We didn't have an identity for the longest time. I feel like we're starting to get one now again. The Broncos have that identity now. They're starting to reorganize themselves. Now they're saying, this is the program, this is the coach, this is the plan. The worst thing you can do to a young quarterback is change the system every year. And we've said this before, and this is what's happened with the Raiders in the past. We've been through so many head coaches, offensive coordinators, entire coaching staffs, that some of the guys that we've had in certain positions haven't had the chance to really grow under one regime, because next thing you know, we're on to the next one. And then on to the next one the year after, and then the same thing, and so on and so on. Hopefully with us, it's the situation that we've got with Kubiak, that the Raiders are able to sustain this for a long-term process, which is only going to help the rookie quarterback in Mendoza and a rookie head coach like Kubiak coming into this situation. So it's almost the same thing with Peyton. Peyton got there, and he's turned this team around. He brought in a rookie quarterback. They're starting to flourish. They've made some moves this offseason. They've increased through the draft. They've increased through free agency, trades. Do I think they still overpaid for Waddle? I think so. But we'll see how they look on the receiving side. They needed somebody, obviously, but I think that was still a lot to give up for him. So Denver is still trying to avoid doing that in the future of shifting quarterbacks and coaches again. So they're locking him until 2030. So as far as his contract goes, it's a 5-year extension through 2030. The financial terms, we don't know. What you normally don't see those unless someone leaks it out. So I don't know what the contract is, like how much he's getting per season, but I'm sure it's not cheap. But again, that doesn't come off the salary cap for the team. It's the owners that pay that. It's the organization, so that's not a big deal. And basically, it just replaces the final 2 years of his existing deal. So they just added on more years to what the current contract was. And I'm sure it was a bump in pay, too. And on top of that, Denver also extended GM George Patton. So aligning the coach, front office timeline. So with them both being re-signed to an extension, they're committing to these two long-term, because the organization's happy with the way that it's going. Obviously, I mean, they were one touchdown away from playing in the Super Bowl last year. If Bo Nix played that game, they would have won that game. They would have won the AFC Championship. And as much as that pains us, but as Raider fans, we weren't happy no matter what because it was the Patriots and the Broncos. So it's like you just hoped whoever went from the NFC was going to beat them, and it happened. So we're happy there. So yeah, that pretty much covers the Denver side of this. So now the next thing is Joe Burrow. Okay, so Joe Burrow created a little bit of cap space here. So he restructured his contract. It created about $10 million in cap space for the Bengals. So is it a big deal? Yeah, it's 10 mil, but that 10 mil can buy you a lot of players depending on how you use it. If you structure contracts the right way, anybody you bring in, it still gives them money. You might get them. I don't know where they sit in the cap space, but it probably helped them with the overall cap space that they might have been in too. So, it's interesting because when a franchise quarterback restructures, usually one of two things happen. Either the team needs breathing room or the team is preparing itself to make another move. So is there another move in the process? We'll have to wait and see. Does this mean Cincinnati's about to make a blockbuster trade in the next few days? But it does mean they wanted flexibility, so there could be something in the works. I mean, nobody expected the Myles Garrett thing to hit last week, so who knows what this could do. This might be part of a deal with another team that they're working on that, the other team said, listen, if you can work his contract down to have him take create a little more cap space and knock his salary down for this year, we can pull this trade off with you. So Burrow could be on the move. That could be a rumor floating around out there. This for the Bengals, this matters because they're always balancing money around Burrow. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the offensive line, the defense. So they're always trying to find space on their cap to bring in players that can benefit a player of Joe Burrow's caliber. So there's that. So once you pay the quarterback, the cap puzzle gets harder. So this is a small front office move. The question is, what are they going to do with the space? So his original extension was for 5 years, $275 million that he signed in 2023. Original guarantees were reported at about $219 million. So the restructured result is it created about $10 million in 2026 cap space. So part of Burrow's salary was likely converted into bonus money, spreading the cap charge into future years. So that's where they probably made off with this. So reports say Cincinnati could have created more than $19.2 million, but chose a smaller restructure. So they could have opened up around 19.2, but they went for a different restructuring of his contract. So again, it just gives them a little bit more breathing room. Catch up with the chat here. See who popped in. Let's see. Let's see. Stability is a team's best. Exactly. And availability too. Mike, what's up, my guy? What's going on, man? Top 5 wide receiving units in 2026. Broncos by 5. Well, yeah, because you're a Broncos fan. Number 2, Rams. Number 3, Bengals. 4, Cowboys. 5, Seahawks. Raiders 25. I think even 25 is a little crazy for us, to be honest with you. I don't think we're in the top 25 in wide receiver groups. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who knows, Bueno, but will the wide receiver help that team? If anything, the biggest thing they need is any protection for Burrow. Burrow's getting beat up over there in Cincinnati. The funny thing is when he got drafted, and I looked back and I saw it I put it on my Facebook years ago. When he got drafted, one of the comments I made when we were watching the draft, I put it on Facebook. I said, there goes Joe Burrow's career. He's going to Cincinnati. He's going to be pretty much irrelevant. I mean, I'm not far off if you think about it. He's been great, yes, but it's not any fault of his own. It's just that organization is such a mess, and they always have been. They had that one year that they got to the Super Bowl, but then they just could never get back there. They're not giving him the protection up front. They're not giving him sometimes a legit running game. Yeah, he's got a great wide receiver in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins he's got that. But if you don't have an offensive line in front of you, forget it. It's all for naught, which sucks. I feel bad for Burrow because I really like Joe Burrow. And it just sucks that he's stuck in this horrible situation. So let's move along here. So money moves shape the NFL. So when you look at Mahomes, Garrett, and Payton together, this is what team building really looks like. Kansas City's protecting their quarterback, their franchise quarterback. The Rams are going all in on a championship window. Like how big is their championship window? How long do they have before that window starts to slowly close? Right now, that window's blown wide open. All right. Denver, they're betting on the coach's stability. 3 different teams, 3 different plans, 3 different kinds of pressure. The Chiefs have pressure to keep building around Mahomes, and that's the big thing. You pay that guy, you need to keep building around him. And you need to do it on the cheap, too, because of how much it's costing him. So they have to stop making smart business decisions going forward after this contract restructuring for him or the extension they gave him. The Rams have pressure to win now because they made the big swing. So if they have this big swing and it's a total whiff and they don't make it to the Super Bowl or they don't win it, they're going to have to try and reload and hope that next year is the year. Again, Stafford is the biggest question with the Rams. There's no choice about this. So if the Rams have vision of doing something in the future going forward beyond this season, if they don't make it, they have to put high stock in hoping that Ty Simpson is the guy that can take them. They've got the offensive weapons. I've already said that. They've got the weapons. They just need the stability at quarterback that can stay on his feet. Okay. Now, the Broncos have pressure to prove Sean Payton is still one of the top program builders in the league, and he's already shown that. He's shown what he did in New Orleans. He's showing what he's doing now in Denver. Denver is still a work in progress. They have, still the same nucleus of players on that roster right now, and they added to it, And this is why these stories matter. They're not just headlines. They tell us how a franchise sees itself. And which is one of the reasons why I do this show is because, especially I know there's a lot of Raider fans in here. If you don't know what's going on in other parts of the league, you need to gauge your team, no matter what team you are in this, in the fan base in the NFL. If you're a fan of, say, like Kenny, the Houston Texans, you want to know what's going on around the league because not everybody can sit here and follow all the news in the NFL. Okay. So by doing this show, I'm getting that information out there to you guys. Like how many of you really knew the full breakdown without actually looking at, Mahomes might have been an easy one to figure out because he's in our division. But some of the other stuff I cover, we're going to talk about the Colts and some other teams in a minute. This is not stuff that you're going to be digging into to see what it means to us. If there's teams that your respected team is going to play against this season, you kind of want to know what's going on with those teams. So when it comes time to that week, you don't sit there and say, oh, yeah, we can beat them with no problem. Well, let's take a deeper look at what we've got that we have to play against, because that makes a lot of difference, too, on what your mentality is going to be going into that game. So, which is why I love this show. This is probably one of my favorite shows now, because I get to talk about all the teams, and I'm not strictly just pigeonholed into talking about the Raiders. I can hit every team in the NFL based on the news, or what's going on each week. I will be opening the phone lines in a little bit. They're not open yet, so just bear with me. Got a few more things to cover. Then it says sacks are not just on the O-line. QB has to take some risks. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. If the QB is not smart enough to get out of there, then that's where it's definitely on them. So I do have a question for you guys. So when we do open up the phone lines, this is one of the questions I want to see or hear from you guys when you call in. Which money move do you trust the most? The Kansas City locking in Mahomes, the Rams paying up for Garrett, Denver locking in Sean Payton or Cincinnati restructuring Burrow to create cap space. So which one do you think has the biggest impact, basically, is I guess the real question. So we'll keep that in mind. I'll pop that back up later on. So we're going to switch over now to the Colts. Where did that sheet go? Oh, it's right here. So with the Colts, Daniel Jones is participated in everything going on in their mini camps except for 11-on-11s as he works his way back from that Achilles injury. You see, Jonathan Cooper may never play another down in Denver or the NFL. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility there. No ways about that one. That matters with Daniel Jones because quarterback recovery is not just about being medically cleared. It's all about movement, timing, confidence, live reps. Alec Pierce is targeting a late training camp return from ankle surgery. That matters because receiver timing going into the season is huge, and we all understand that timing is everything with some of these. It depends on the offensive scheme too, but it's that timing between that quarterback and that wide receiver. And DeForest Buckner missed mini camp with a neck issue. That one kind of gets my attention because Buckner is not just another player; he's a tone setter on that defensive line. So if he misses any time, that's huge for the Colts. So for the Colts, it's not panic time, but it's definitely a watch and a watch list thing. Like let's see what happens with going on with them going forward. Anything bad that happens at Denver is a win. I won't deny that. Even though I know I got a lot of Denver fans that follow me in here, but oh well. Sorry, guys. So moving on to the next one. Patriots. Patriots signed their first round offensive tackle, Caleb Lomo, to his rookie deal. So that's the next thing we're going to be going through is some of these rookies that have signed now, because some have signed, some hadn't. So we're starting to see some of these guys now finally actually sign their contracts. So Caleb Lomo signed his rookie deal. And that's exactly what Pats fans are going to want to see, because they're going to want to see what he can do out there. They drafted him for a reason. I think a lot of it is because I think they kind of realized they kind of screwed up with Campbell last year. So they bring in another tackle that I think is way better than Campbell. I mean, Campbell got exposed in the playoffs last year for the Patriots. There's no ways about that. To the point where Drake May was just getting destroyed back there in the playoffs. I mean, he broke a record for the most sacks in the playoffs and postseason. They sacked him like 5 times in the Super Bowl. So he was just so exposed on that side, big time. So they get their first round pick, sign him. They get him in the building. They get him working. For New England, offensive line stability has to be one of their biggest priorities this year. And like I just said, it showed how they played last year. Their offensive line was not up to snuff. And you cannot develop a quarterback. You cannot build a run game. And you cannot run a real offense if the line is a mess. We know this as Raider fans. We saw exactly what happened last year. Quarterback play was horrible. Running back play was horrible because our offensive line was that bad. And if this is why I'm such a firm believer in, you do what you can, no matter what team you represent or what team you're a fan of. You want to see your team do what it can for that offensive line, because if you don't lock down that offensive line, what good is it having this flashy quarterback and running back there if they can't get the production or the protection for the quarterback and the holes opened up on the line for you to run the ball? Now, granted, I know, like someone just said about, the sacks aren't always all on the offensive line. Same thing with a running back. If the hole's not there, you have to learn to adapt and move and find the opening. So even our running back woes last year weren't entirely on the offensive line. There were plenty of times where Genty could have done something different and made something of a positive take on a play. There were many times where he was tackled in the backfield. So there's things that the actual player can do that doesn't rely on the offensive line. So it's not always the offensive line. It's the players around them doing what they think they can do. So again, with New England, if you don't have that offensive line set, you're no better. This may not be the flashiest headline with the Patriots signing him, but it matters, and it matters to Patriots fans. First round tackle signed and ready for camp. That's clean. They're ready. They're ready for business. So it's like, boom, let's start rolling. With all the offseason distractions and ease of schedule, I don't see the Pats making a Super Bowl run again. They got definitely a tougher schedule this year. They had kind of a cakewalk into the playoffs, but when they got to the playoffs, they weren't the same team. They definitely were not the same team as what we saw during the season. All I know is living in New England, all my Pats fan friends were like, oh, we still made the Super Bowl. Yeah, and you still lost your home opener to the worst team in the league last year. So remember that. So we still have one up on you. We are the worst team. We got the number one pick for a reason, and we still beat you. So whether you went to the Super Bowl or not, and you got your ass beat in the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. They may still make it, but I think they make it by the skin of their teeth if they make it. Again, they've got a tougher schedule. Buffalo's still Buffalo. So there's still some things that are going to be against the Patriots. The only thing that's going to help them is the Jets are still the Jets, and the Dolphins are in such disarray right now. Who knows what the Dolphins are going to be? We have an idea what the Jets are going to be because they still had the talent last year. They just didn't have a quarterback. Do they have a quarterback now? It's Geno Smith, so technically not really. But we'll see. Frank, you might have fancy nails and screws, but you can't build a house without solid lumber. Exactly. Yeah, what's up, Hummer? It's awesome. Yeah, that's what I love about it. What's up, 805? What's going on, my guy? All right, so moving on to the next thing, Chargers. So I know we're talking again. It's Charger news, but again, it means something to us too as Raider fans. So they signed their first round linebacker Akeem Mesidor to his rookie contract. So now he's in the fold completely. Again, this isn't going to be a long segment, but it does matter. The Chargers are trying to build a defensive identity. Khalil Mack's only going to be there for the short term. He's not going to be around for much longer. And getting your first round pick signed before camp is exactly what teams want to do. So by getting him in the door, getting him signed, that's one less thing. And now they can just get down to business and stop planning the season. No drama, no delay, no distraction. They get him in the building and they let him compete. And, for Raider fans or any fan in the AFC West, yeah, it's not a good thing for us because now it's just another piece of the puzzle that they have. For Charger fans, this is one of those moves where you say, good, now let's see it on the field. Just like we say as Raider fans, yeah, that's great. When people say, oh, offensive line is going to be good this year. Well, let's see what it's like on the field. On paper, yeah, they look great. Let's see, where are we here? What's up, Proof? What's going on, man? Yeah, glad to see you live. Thank you. Yeah, I'm back. I was on last Friday. I was on Friday night, this show. I was on Sunday afternoon or early Sunday evening with Jason, Raiders First Downs, and Donuts Duncan. We did a special tribute to Robert Pena on Sunday. And then I was on Tuesday night with Will and Leo for the Raider, the most notorious. Why haven't we signed Mendoza? I don't know. Maybe they don't like the pick. Maybe they're not going to sign him. They're going to cut him. Thanks, Kenneth. You missed the Sunday one. Yeah, because normally I don't do a Sunday show, but Jason brought it up, and I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. So that's why I was on Sunday. Because normally, like I said, I'm normally not on Sunday. So next thing, Charbonnet. The week one watch is on now. So his week one status is still something to watch as he comes back from ACL surgery or ACL injury. Mike McDonald hasn't ruled him out just yet. Sounds positive, but listen carefully to the coach language when they talk. Not ruled out does not mean He does not mean does not mean he's ready. Okay. Not ruled out means there's still a chance that he could play. So Seahawks fans should feel hopeful, because you lost Kenneth Walker. So now you're going to be counting on Charbonnet, so you should feel hopeful, but not completely relaxed. Like, oh, Charbonnet's going to be back. We'll see. He might not be back for week 1, or he might not. Running back after an ACL injury is always something to monitor, because it's not just straight line running. It's cutting. It's eluding players on the defense. It's the confidence, it's contact, it's the speed bursts. There's so much involved in it. I know what it's like to have my ACL replaced. It's not fun, even to this day. And it was 26 years ago that I had it done. My biggest fear is when it's in the winter, when it snows out. And if there's ice on the ground already and then the snow covers it and your step, and I don't know if there's ice underneath it, I do not like walking around in the snow, because that still scares a little shit out of me, because that's how I did it in the first place. Was I slipped on ice at a fire and I blew up my ACL. So ice and if I could carry around a flamethrower, I would, so I could just melt everything in front of me during the winter. And here's the thing with Seattle. They now have serious competition. They did last year, but they've got even more serious competition within their own division because of what the Rams just did. So they want to get off to a fast start, and if they want to do that, they're going to need a healthy offense, so that means a healthy Charbonnet. Charbonnet is a big watch list name going into camp, and anybody that does fantasy football, it's definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on if you seriously were thinking about drafting him as your running back at some point. Me personally, I don't touch running backs coming off ACL injuries. Absolutely not. Not in fantasy football, I don't. Absolutely not. It's too scary. So I'm going to open up the phone lines in a minute. So based on this, I just want to ask you this. I want to hear from you guys around the league. Which move matters? Which move matters the most? Is it the Mahomes being locked in long term? Is it the Rams going all in with Myles Garrett? Is it Denver committing to Sean Payton? Is it one of those injury stories that I just discussed? With Charbonnet, the Colts with Daniel Jones, and some of these other players that we mentioned. Or is it Cincinnati creating cap space with Joe Burrow? Is there a plan in the possible works with Cincinnati to do something? Not necessarily Joe Burrow involved, but to create cap space for them to bring in a player that's going to cost them a little bit more, and they need that extra $10 million that they just saved with him. Is there something out there? Are there rumors floating around that we don't know yet? So call in, tell me your team, give me your take and what you think means going into training camps. Because don't forget, we're almost a month away now from when training camps open. Usually they open up around mid-July, like around the 17th or so. So we got a month now before things really start heating up. So you're going to see a lot of these shows that have been in hiatus lately starting to come back live again. I think next week, the Raider Connections are going to be back on Wednesday night. Nate and I will probably be back because now at that point, the NBA Finals will be over. The NHL Stanley Cup will be done by then. So, there's going to probably be more regular shows on a more consistent basis going forward. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. Again, like I've always said, try and keep your takes to under 2 minutes so I can get more people on. Phone number's right up here in the corner. You see it right there, right here. Right there. 401-830-9189. So I am going to open the phone lines now. So lines are open. And like I said, just call in. Keep your message or keep your take short if you can. And let's roll, man. Let's rock and roll this tonight. I want to hear from fans outside of Raider Nation. That's what I'm looking to hear from. I'm looking to hear from fans of other teams. If there's a Chiefs fan, a Broncos fan, a Colts fan, Patriots fan, Dolphins fan, I don't care what team you rep. I want to hear from you guys. Let's see. What do we got going on in the chat here? Let's see. Backfield looks good on paper. Washington and Gentry will wear out a pass rush and open up for Fernando. Yeah. So you think it's the Rams, Myles Garrett, or Cincinnati? Broncos had the best great news and bad news. All right, you keep it short and sweet there. Where is that? Yeah, and don't forget, anybody, I am on Twitch now too. So I am streaming to Twitch. So again, I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch now. So I've got 4 rolling. I'm kind of hoping this Twitch thing takes off as best as it can. I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. So I've had 1 viewer in there so far. So if anybody uses Twitch, because what I'm planning on is on my downtime is to start streaming some games too when I play. I haven't had the chance to because I've still been working a lot of the stuff for the Raiders Patriots weekend and the Jets game, and not so because when I go out to Vegas, I ain't doing anything. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to promo stuff, and I'm not setting up parties and all that. So that's just I'm going there and I'm bringing all my equipment with me so I can film as much as I can, video, record shit. I'm so looking forward to everything that's going to go on around that. I'm going to be sensory overload with everything that's probably going to be going on around me out there. So again, the phone number is 401-830-9189. Don't forget, I have the 401 Raider shop.fourthwall.com. The No Huddle hats are on there. I've got my personal merchandise. I've got Raiders Coast to Coast t-shirt and hat bundle. And we have the Raider Nation voices. I've got hoodies. I've got long sleeves. I got sleeveless. 805 got sleeveless, but they're white. You won't wear it. I also have fire department shirts, actual Southside Sixes from Phelan Lincoln Fire Department, my old department. I just put those up about a week or so ago. So those are out there. So if you want to sport the fire department shirt, that's out there too. And the other thing I just put out a couple of days ago, and all proceeds from this shirt I'm going to talk about is going strictly to the TBH chapter New England to help offset our costs for the Raiders Patriots game. There's a shirt out there. The Raider Nation drops anchor in Boston. So that shirt is available also. So if anybody's planning on coming out here for the game, make sure you grab that shirt so you can wear it while you're out here too. So I'm a Calgary Stampede fan. That's up there. What about Ty Simpson fans? Hey, Ty Simpson fans can call in. So yeah, I'm all for it. Gotta lock in on Twitch. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, dude, man, I'm spreading my wings, baby. Woo! I'm spreading my wings. Oh, Marcus is here. What's up, Marcus? What's up, my man? Welcome. Oh, here we go. Let's see what we got. You're on No Huddle with Jeff. State your name and the team you're at.
Jeff, my good man.
How
are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, my man. And first off, I want to give my condolences to Bueno and to Alec on their passings. My condolences to them.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
And I definitely want to give my condolences to all of y'all at Raider Nation after what happened to Robert Pena.
Thank you. We appreciate that also, man. Thank you. That was a tough one.
And that saying that I came up with when I was there for y'all's last show.
Yeah.
That was one I came up with on my own.
That was good. It was a perfect timing last week too. Definitely.
Yeah. And then anyway, I don't know if you heard, but Calais Campbell said that he's talked about retiring.
Oh, I'm not surprised. The guy's like 80 years old.
And,
he's been playing for so damn long.
I know I already know that you probably already covered the trade that was one of the things I was going to talk to you about, but I figured you already covered it.
The trade with which
yeah,
one?
Atlanta and Kansas City.
Yeah, I did cover that. That was real early on.
Wanye Morris going from the Chiefs to Atlanta.
Yeah, offensive lineman to the Falcons. Yep.
Oh, in case you're wondering the score on that USA Paraguay match.
Yeah.
According to, I got the ESPN app right here on my phone. USA is up 3.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, USA is up 3-0 as of right now.
Oh wow, yeah. I just pulled it up 3-0. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I just pulled it up on my ESPN app. Also, the NFL closed their personal conduct review on Stephon Diggs.
What'd they say on that?
From what if I remember right, they said it didn't warrant a violation of their policy.
Yeah, because he was cleared. He ended up being cleared of everything. So notice nobody's really made a move for him since then, though. So it's not high demand for him. Other than that, he would have been picked up already. As soon as the first injury happens, though, I guarantee he'll find somewhere. He'll go somewhere.
I have the article right here on the Diggs situation. It says the NFL has closed its review on right receiver Stephon Diggs after determining there was insufficient evidence of a personal conduct policy violation. But anyway, my man,
I figured they were going to find him. I figured they were going to clear him. Well, you can't go and fine or penalize the guy if he was cleared and caught. You know what I mean? So it's like that's kind of
and also I don't know if you heard, but Cooper is in trouble again for violating a no contact order.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently he violated some Denver Broncos linebacker Jonathan Cooper was arrested.
Yeah, somebody
Thursday.
said that earlier too. Yeah, someone mentioned his name earlier in the chat.
Yeah, he got arrested Thursday on multiple charges when he violated a protection order that was filed against him earlier in the week.
Oh, jeez.
But anyway, my man, I do appreciate you taking my call.
No problem,
and
man.
Again, I want to give my condolences to the Pena family, to Alec, and to Bueno. And from a Texans fan, much respect to Raider Nation.
Thank you, my guy. I appreciate you, Kenneth. Thank you.
All right.
Marcus, I saw your message. On June 4th, Robert Pena passed away. The full particulars, I don't know yet. I haven't heard anything. D Menace dropped the news to us in a chat like the next day. So supposedly it was in a car accident is what I've heard. So I don't, it's all speculation. We don't know exactly what happened. But yeah, so we did a few different content guys did tributes to him. I did one on Sunday along with Raiders First Downs, Jason Downs, and Donuts Duncan. We did one on Sunday, early Sunday. We had Afakasi pop in. Sacktown Mike was in with us. Reached out to Jack Kenna that while we were on, but he never got back to me until the next day. So we lost Robert Pena. And Bueno's dad passed away unexpectedly. I think it was on Wednesday. Bueno sent me a text to let me know about that. So I did they do have a GoFundMe for Bueno's dad. So I did put that up in the chat. I actually dropped that again right now too. So there it is. And Alec informed us tonight that his dad just passed away recently too. So condolences to I'm Not Bueno, the Pena family, Alex himself and his family. So condolences to everybody involved in all those different families. We're all a family here. This is Raider Nation and NFL in general. Kenneth, who's a Texans fan, he was in our chat on Sunday and was paying his respects to Robert Pena, and he did it tonight to Alec and to Bueno. So it's been a rough week. It's been a real rough week, and there's been some other Raider Nation faces that have passed in the last week. I didn't know personally, but some of the other guys did. There are a lot of the Cali guys and such that people know. And then I hear Power Raiders having some sort of heart issue, so he's in and out of the hospital lately. So it's been again, it's been a rough week. It's been a real rough week in Raider Nation. He was drafted with Spartacus. Dude, he's been in the league like forever. He's like, I think Jenkins, when we had him, I think he was still, what was he, like almost 40 himself? He was up there too. Playas he's up there in age too. He's contentious. It doesn't surprise me. USA was supposed to beat them. Burrow suffered a loss. Yeah, Eric lost his mom last year. So yeah, I mean, we definitely understand the situation with all of you. Losing a parent is not easy. Like I said earlier, I lost my dad 16 years ago. I guess what happens is sometimes it's when they pass unexpectedly. That's such a hard thing to go through. For me, I watched my dad just wither away to nothing. He had pancreatic cancer. And, he was good up until about a month or two beforehand. I mean, he had survived 17 months from the time he was diagnosed, and he had retired already. He was only 62 at the time, so he had retired. All he did was he was on his motorcycle. If the weather was nice, he was on his bike. And I think what happened with him is once he realized he couldn't ride his bike anymore, like he didn't have the strength to hold it up, like he almost dropped it just sitting at a red light. He just didn't have that strength. He put the bike away after that. He went home, put the bike away. He never rode it again. I think once that happened, his will to live just went right out. I mean, he'd been on a motorcycle since he was a teenager, even younger. So he was always on a bike. And I think once that happened, you could see him really start to just fade after that, because it just at that point, that was his life, So it's tough when you watch a family member, go like that. But it's really hard when it's such a sudden, out of nowhere, like when they're sick, that time's coming. You have time to say your goodbyes. When they just go unexpectedly, you could have had an argument with the person, with your mom or your dad the day before, and all of a sudden they're gone. You don't get that chance to, say you love them or, to make up and, we're good, you don't get that, which sucks. Oh, what's up, Nada? What's going on, man? Welcome in. Yeah, Kenneth, we appreciate you being in here, man, for sure, man. See, losing people that are close, really, yeah, it does, man. I mean, like I didn't get like Sacktown Mike and Leo and Jack Kenner and these guys got to meet Robert Pena in person at Bakersfield back in May. So they had a definite face-to-face personal connection with him. I only had a connection with him being in my chats, talking on Instagram, in the chats and everything. And he would always be the first one in the chats. He always, like I said the other day, he always called me Skipper, So even in his messages on Instagram, he would send me a message saying, "Hey Skipper," he would always be one of the ones that would comment on my show. Like once the show was done and you would be in the comments, he would say that, he would call me Skipper on that, like great show, Skipper, and stuff like that. It's not easy. Oh, Kenneth, I'm sorry, man. That's tough. I still have my mom right now. But again, she's going to be 76 this year. 76, 77. I don't remember how old she is now. I didn't mean to turn this into a summer phone show. But phone lines are open, folks. 401-830-9189. Kenneth, like it or not, you're an unofficial member of Raider Nation. You've earned that title. Yeah, just like Marcus Banks. I mean, Marcus is a Titans fan, and he just fits in so well with everybody in the chat and everything. He's very respectful. He knows more about the Raiders than some Raider fans I've talked with. Trust me, he does. Kenneth, same thing. He's a Houston Texans fan, but he's in the chats. Pretty much, if I'm on a show or I'm live on my channel, whether it be on another show or something like that, he's always in the chats, and I appreciate that. So that's why I like this show. This is why this one's so much fun, because I'm bringing in fans from all over. Yeah, I watched my grandmother go that way, Eric. That was so tough to watch too. That both my grandmothers did, but one I spent a lot more time around than the other. And yeah, that was tough. That was tough to watch. When they don't even know who you are anymore, it's like that hurts. That's why I said before, cherish the time you have with your loved ones. You never know. Exactly. What's up, Cool Kev? I see you in there, man. What's going on? Absolutely, Robert Pena for life, man. I miss that guy. I miss him in the chats. I may not be able to buy anything from his shop, but I'm here. Yeah. I'm the only child. I'm fortunate to have my father, who will be 81 and independent, and my mother, who will be 71. And wow. Yeah, I'm an only child, so like my mother's my everything now. That's all I have. My dad and I were kind of estranged for a long, long time. Once my parents got separated, I got married in 91. They were already in the middle of the separation at that point. So I was already at that point like pissed at my dad because he left her. Well, he left us basically because I was still living at home at that point. I didn't move out of my house until I came back from my honeymoon. So I lived in my house from age 2 until I was 21 when we got married. So I lived there for 19 years in that house. Mom would be 72. Yeah. Not feeling too good now. Robert Pena was my brother. Yeah, that one hit a lot of us rough, man. I think it was because it was just so damn sudden. It's like, and especially for like Sacktown Mike and Jack and them, like I said, they were able to meet him in person, and it's just not easy. Let's see. Tried to eat a sandwich, but I couldn't hold it. Yeah, that's not easy, man. I hear you, brother. Oh, really? I didn't hear that. So the Patriots stopped their practice because someone hit Drake May in practice. God forbid they hit someone. It's all good, Jeff. God molded you to be a strong, independent man, and you did a lot of positive things in your life as a fireman and as an individual for your community. I try, man. I try. I just hope I did enough good when I was on the job to allow me to go up when I go and not down. Because I did a lot of weird shit, a lot of stupid shit too in the past. So hopefully it balances out and I'm good. Other than that, I'm screwed. Yeah, the things we go through in life forge who we become. Absolutely. I missed what was stated, but if you need anything, let me know, bro. I got you. Robert Pena, world's biggest teddy bear. Yeah, Sacktown said that in the. Actually, that's one of the shorts I pulled from that show Sunday. Mike talking about how Robert Pena gave you a hug. He goes, you better take a good breath. You take a deep breath before he gets a hold of you because he just squeeze it right out of you. So. Yeah, that's the tough part, man, and that's what was tough for me with my dad too. Is when I was younger, he was like my best friend. I did everything with him. We always had hot rods, or he always had the motorcycle, obviously too. So I was always with him on the bike, or car shows, working in the garage on the cars. So I went everywhere. My mother and I didn't have the best relationship when I was growing up. So my dad was my everything to me. But the moment he walked out on us because he was seeing another woman, that ended right there. My mother and I became tighter than anything possible. Call me mama's, but I don't give a fuck. I would do anything for her. She's all I got left. I have nobody else. My grandparents are gone. I got one aunt that we don't even talk to anymore. My dad had two brothers. One I hadn't talked to since I've been a kid. I just don't see them. They live down in Florida. The other one I was really close to. He just passed away last year. I lost him and my aunt, his wife, within days of each other. So there's nobody left that I converse with on a regular basis. They're all gone. It was what I was talking about earlier. It's like you get to that point in your life, if you're the oldest out of all the kids or the grandkids, you become the hierarchy. You become the oldest. You become the elder, basically. For the longest time, I had a ton of elders around me. Now I'm on the verge of being that elder. I mean, I'm 56 now. 4 more years, I'm going to be in my 60s. How long is my mom going to be around for? I don't know. Exactly. Cool, Kev. Pena of all men. Of all people. Yeah, we've all done weird shit. There's no reason to worry about turning the chat sad. That's part of recovery for all of us. Yeah, no, I get it. Depending, we dedicate this. Oh, definitely dedicate this season to him for sure. Yeah, this our families. Yeah, that was tough to get over. Just that aspect of it. Thank you, Marcus. To you too, man. Sorry I don't have any Titans news for you. There really wasn't much for the Titans. Actually, let me go back and look. When did they even come up? When did I even pull up for that? Whatever it wasn't enough to bring up. Sorry. There were actually quite a few teams that had basically nothing to cover at all when I was going through. Because what I do is I compile a list of all transactions throughout the NFL from last Friday, from noontime last Friday to noontime today. And then I just try and piece things together to talk about, to cover for this show. Let me see. What was even on here I'm doing this for you, Marcus. I'm actually going through to see what I've got here for the Titans. So I want to see what was actually on here. All right. So all 32 team breakdown. AFC South. Titans. Here's the big news for the Titans in the last week. Calvin Ridley was expected to get involved in 7-on-7 work as he deals with a leg injury. Cordell Flott has been dealing, a cornerback, Cordell Flott, what a fucking name, has been dealing with an injury but was expected at minicamp. That was it. Nothing big, flashy, unfortunately. Oh, you're right, Eric. Life is too short to hold grudges, 100%. Minicamp is over now. It's about players stand self-motivated and stay out of trouble. Exactly. If players stay out of trouble between now and the start of actual summer camp, training camp, I still got to, I'm still trying to work on reaching out because now would be the time for me to do this. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do after this. I think tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be shitty this weekend here. It's been hot as balls here lately. Ask Eric. Eric lives not too far from me and just over the line in Mass. It's been hot. It's been in the 90s and the humidity's been like 90+% humidity. It's just been brutal out there. It's so freaking nasty out there with the humidity. It's disgusting. Yeah, I got to work on. I got to reach out and do a. I got to send a letter to. I got to do it to Bishop Hendricken first, to the alumni department, because I'm going to try. I'm trying my damnedest to do this. I'm not going to guarantee anything, guys, but I am going to try my best to see if I can get a one-on-one interview with Quiddy Pay, because he's a Rhode Island native. He went to high school here in Rhode Island. Went to school at Michigan. I'm going to see if I can get an interview with him. So I'm going to see what I can do with that. I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to try. Because now that mini camp and OTAs and all that's over, and everybody either, I don't know if he comes home or if he stays out there. Even if he stays out there, if I can get in contact with his camp somehow and find a way to do an interview with him, I definitely am going to do that. If he's here, then I will actually go and I will actually try and rent a studio and do an interview that way with him, record it, and then then edit it and everything, and then put it out there. I don't think he would do a live. I would love to do a live with him, but I don't think that would happen. I'd rather do a recorded and then edit it down and then release it as a live, so I can be in the chat while it's going on, while the interview's being done. It wouldn't be a long one. It would probably only be like 45 minutes tops to a half hour. So it wouldn't be a long one, but it would just be one more thing that, to expand here on for me is to start getting involved with, actual players and see what I can, make of this for the future. I mean, think about it. I mean, I've already interviewed Violator twice. We had Brian Fowler on with Nate and I about a month or so ago. If anybody missed that one, Raiders Coast to Coast, we had Brian Fowler on. Nate and I did an interview with him. We were only supposed to have him on for an hour, and he said he had about an hour to do. And then when it got almost to the 1 hour mark, I asked him live on the show. I said, you're at the 1 hour. We're almost at the 1 hour mark. How much more time do you have? He goes, we can keep going. I'm having fun. It turned into over 2 hours with him on screen. He was having so much fun, and it was so relaxed for him that's the type of interview I like doing, is the fact that we made it so comfortable for him and the questions that we were asking, and we incorporated the chat questions into it too. So I gave everybody in the chat a chance to ask questions. I highlighted them, and then we went back and asked them all the questions that were being asked in the chat. So the chat had a huge play in that show that night. And that's part of the reason why he stayed on too. And he told me this afterwards, because the chat had such good interaction with him. He was having fun. We didn't even realize that he had been on that long until it was almost over. So that was a fun one. That was probably one of my favorite actual shows themselves. That was a good one. That was really good. Let's see. It's been hot as the devil's toenail here in Michigan. Yeah, you're welcome, Marcus. The hot take of the day: JPJ won't start. I forgot who said it. I know I said a few weeks ago or a couple months ago that I have said it. You can go back and find it, but I did say this in the past. I said maybe JPJ is not as good as we think he is. It is a possibility. And now there's someone mentioned it earlier in the show that there's rumors of him, I guess, acting immature or something, or being kind of babyish at camp. I don't know. So some of these guys, you can remember these guys. Some of these are still kids. They haven't hit that maturity level. I never understood how so many players get in legal trouble. It's disgusting. It really is. Let's see. What's up, Scream? What's going on, my guy? How we doing, brother? In the low hundreds in Sacramento. Yeah, but you got no humidity. What do you have for humidity out there? Like 20%, if that? Dude, take that 100 degrees and put that at 95% humidity. You don't even want to stay outside for more than 5 seconds. Going out to smoke a cigarette is just not even enjoyable. Low 100 is prime lizard's weather. 94 in Stockton, but it was 100 today. 100 here in the IE. Oh, I can only imagine how hot it is in SoFi while they're playing that soccer game. It must be like 1,000 degrees in there. Let's see. Cool Kev. Next to 10 acres of open field behind my house. Lizards are going crazy. Had to get 3 of them out of my house. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, everybody keeps telling me that too. For the home opener, it's going to be hot as hell out there too. I think Leo said it. He goes, you go to the tailgate, you last about not even 30 minutes in a tailgate, and then you want to go inside. I miss the heat. Summer rain is so depressing. Yeah, we're supposed to get rain this weekend, so it's going to be kind of ick. In Vegas, I always say dry heat like my oven, but there's a breeze. Great. It's a convection oven. It's a cool 104 in the Vegas area. There you go. Ugh. I used to deliver freight in Vegas. I would go to sleep at 6 a.m., wake up at 8 a.m., drenched in sweat, damn near 90 degrees. Yeah. Well, if you don't have AC, yeah. I lived in North Carolina for a few years. I know about humidity. I'll take hundreds over high humidity. Yeah, see, exactly. Exactly. That's why I don't get why people move to Florida sometimes. Humidity's constant down there. It never goes away. Fucking Mark. 64 here. What's up, David? It's 65 and 80% in Anchorage, which is considered hot for us. 108 in Vegas today. Sweating hard sucks. Playing with electricity. Oh, yeah. Screw that. I love the heat. Helps my tan. Helps your tan. Aren't you black? Wait, what the fuck? Boy, now take me to where you live, Mark. Oh, God. You guys are too much, man. You guys are way too much. All right. Well, I guess we're kind of done for the night, I guess. We only had the one phone call from Kenneth, so yeah, it's a good time as any to call it a night. Let's see. There's plenty of days during the summer. It's still triple digits around 12 a.m. in Vegas. Ugh. So, all right, let me ask you this, 805, seeing as you're in here talking now. Now I know you're really here. What, so around the time I'm going to be there for the home opener, what type of weather are we expecting out there? Oh, David, yeah, you're up in that pot. Oh, yeah, that must suck. There's no sunset. Got to take 2 gummies just to sleep. Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. It's like for 6 months like that, right? Ugh. I just hope it's not so goddamn hot when I'm out there. Because I know LA around the time of week 2 is going to be hot, and then going into SoFi is not the best either. So if I get into the game, but see, the thing for me is expect hot as hell. Awesome. And of course, our team colors have to be black, right? So yeah, it just adds to it too. June 3rd, June. Oh, 3 months. All right, June, July, and August. Ugh, it's rough. That's rough. No sun, no daytime, no nighttime. Ugh. Oh, great! Vegas is supposed to have a heat wave this year. Awesome. Yeah. Wonderful. Oh, of all years, of all times for me to plan on going out there. No, because the thing with going to the Chargers game, it's a chance for me to knock off on my bucket list another stadium. But if what I hear is true about how that stadium is, do I really want to go in there if it's going to be hot as hell? Well, yeah, that's just like, you know what? In all honesty, that's just like Florida, unless you're at Disney World or an amusement park. You go to Florida during the summer when it's at its absolute hottest, you just go from AC building to AC building. That's the best part about it. When you're in Vegas, you're never outside anyway, air conditioning all around. Good. Fremont Street's opened at the ends, right? So that's, you're not in AC there, correct? You're standing nuts to butts and freaking sweating your ass off in there during that freaking party. That sounds like that's going to be a fun time. The smells must be amazing. Ugh. They should have kept the Chargers in San Diego. San Diego's always a beautiful. You know what? I've been to San Diego twice, back in '84 and in '85, and San Diego was great. I heard the Raiders are keeping the rookies around till June 23rd. Have you heard anything about that, Jeff? No, I haven't. I haven't. Oh, they have AC inside that tunnel. Okay. All right. So it won't be as bad. Oh, you never heard that before, yeah? Nuts to butts? You're just standing like this, you know. Oh, sorry, like this. I'm going to SoFi, but I'm not going into the game. I go to enough home games. I don't need to be in that swamp cooler. Yeah, I know. Because see, I've been to. Well, I'm gonna have a new one in Buffalo to go to now. So I've been to Highmark Stadium, which is their old stadium, because the new one's gonna be open for this year. So I've been to Highmark. I've been to Sullivan Stadium, which is Foxborough. I've been to Gillette, because that's two different stadiums. I've been to Philly this past season, so that's their newest stadium. I've been to the old Meadowlands Stadium, and I've been to the MetLife Stadium. So right now I've got 6 stadiums that I've been to. 7 if I count Pittsburgh for the draft, because we did go inside and we did sit down. So I can add that as my 7th stadium I've been in. Been to any others that I'm forgetting about? I think that's it. So Allegiant will be my next one, so that'll be 8. As far as teams I've seen play live, Buffalo, New England, Redskins at New England, Detroit at New England, Philadelphia, the Giants twice. This will be my first year seeing the Jets. This will be my first time seeing the Dolphins. And if I go to the Chargers game, I'll be at 9 teams now that I've seen play. My older cousin who lives in Las Vegas has air conditioner in their bathroom. Oh, I believe it. It's usually 20 degrees cooler in Fremont Street. Good. People don't come outside during the day. They come out during the evening when it's cooler. I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to close the phone lines down. We're going to get out of here. So an hour and 45 minutes. I'll take that. I'll take it. I appreciate everybody being in here. Bring this up. All right. So final thoughts for tonight. Basically, before we get out of here. Tonight showed exactly why the NFL never sleeps, basically. What's up, Rorschach? What's up, Notabot? Yeah, I've been on for an hour and 45 minutes now. Later, Sacktown. Sorry, guys. Jeff, my brother, again, just in the basement relaxing. I'll be back sooner than later. No problem, man. I'm getting out of here right now, so we're going to shut this down. Tonight showed exactly why the NFL never really sleeps. You know, even in June, teams are still telling us who they are or what they're going to be. Kansas City saying the window stays open as long as Mahomes is still there. Now the Rams are saying they're all in with the Myles Garrett. Denver is saying Peyton Manning is their Sean Payton is their long-term answer. And around the league, teams are already managing injuries, contracts, rookies signing finally, some of them, the first rounders, and camp pressures before pads are even start to be put on. This is what No Huddle show is built for. We hit the news, we keep it moving, we open up the phone lines, we let you guys have your voice. Fortunately, not a lot of people called in tonight. We let the fans sound off. This is what this show is. The show is about you, the fans. Regardless of what team you rep. This is a fun show. I love doing this show. Let me just hit the last few bits of the chat in here. Bill says condolences to everybody. Yes. Marcus, much respect to Raider Nation. Salute you with that 11-month membership to my channel. I appreciate you, brother. Don't forget, folks, just like it says scrolling across the top, memberships start at 99 cents. So it's real cheap. It's less than what a current cup of coffee costs you. What's the big news? Was the Mahomes contract extension. He's now basically a $500 million player. He's at $506 million, I think was the total I said. That was kind of the big news. And the fact that the Rams restructured Myles Garrett's contract. Sean Payton was extended till 2030. Mahomes was extended to 2033. Joe Burrow restructured his contract to open up $10 million in cap space. That could mean other things coming for Cincinnati. Did they need that cap space for a trade they may try and pull off in the next few weeks or the next few days? Who knows? So there's a lot of things that are still going to happen. Who knows? By the time I do this show next Friday, something will break on Cincinnati. We'll see. A week from now, we'll see what develops between tonight and next Friday, what I pull up for news around the league. And Marcus, hopefully there's some Tennessee Titan news for you. And Kenneth, hopefully there's some Houston Texans news too. Ayo, thank you for posting. I appreciate you. Don't forget, you can get your 401 Raider Jeff merchandise, No Huddle hats, Raider Nation voices, Raiders Coast to Coast hats and shirt bundle. There's a bunch of different type of merchandise on there, hoodies, long sleeves, sleeveless shirts, a fire department shirt that I have up there from my old department I made. I had that put on there. And anybody that's thinking about coming out to New England, there's a shirt that's on there that's supporting the chapter. So all funds from that shirt go towards the TBH New England chapter to help put on the tailgate. So feel free if anybody wants it. It's only going to be a limited run. So once that game happens that weekend, that's coming off the store because that's specific for that weekend. So it's a specialty T-shirt. I'm going to start coming out with some special ones. I think I'm going to come up with a 4th of July 250th anniversary shirt, I think. Well, birthday shirt. I think I'm going to do that. Definitely. Thank you. And anybody that is planning on coming out here for the New England Patriots Raiders game, go to that link right there, TBH New England, and the link tree. It's in my bio below. It's in the description too. The store is, and so is that link. That is in there also. That's got the itinerary for everything that's going on that weekend. I'm going to put this up one more time too. This is for Bueno. They have a GoFundMe for his dad to help with the funeral arrangement costs, because this was definitely a sudden, unexpected passing. So any little help you guys can give, if you can, that would be greatly appreciated to help support our brother Bueno and his family in their time of need. So $500 million for Mahomes has to hurt the rest of the team not paying other players. And that's kind of what I talked about too. It's like they now have to be smart moving forward in Kansas City, because you sink all that money into that one player. You have to make smart moves and smart financial moves going forward. You have to make sure that you're still bringing in the talent that warrants paying him that money to keep them a relevant team. As long as they have Mahomes, they have a chance. That's the thing, because he's that type of caliber player. So how he comes back from this injury remains to be seen until he starts, getting out there and doing, physical movement and building his confidence back up. But he's way ahead of the schedule from everything I'm reading about it. So I think he comes back just as good as he usually is, to be honest with you. Yeah, and I agree not about it. It seems like he's going to be around forever. It's kind of sickening sometimes to think about it. So a lot of these big moves that were made this past week or even in the last few days were mostly West Coast moves. You had two good big moves in the AFC West between Sean Payton with the Broncos extending him, and they extended their GM too. So that keeps these two together, their GM and their head coach together for the next 5 years or so, 4 years guaranteed to be there. Mahomes, they lock him in long term till 2033. So there's two big AFC West news. Then the Chargers just signed Messidor, their rookie that they drafted in the first round. So that helps them with their defense, get them set. Now you shift over to NFC West. You've got the Charbonnet news in Seattle. He's getting there, but he's still not. They're not ruling him out week 1 as possibly being back in time. So that's still big news if you're a Seahawks fan. And with the Rams, with Myles Garrett now fully in the fold there, and they restructured his contract to make it more team friendly, and they extended it too. So, these are big moves that are happening pretty much all on the West Coast. And as far as I'm concerned, the two toughest divisions in the NFL, period. NFC West, AFC West. You've got 3 teams in each division that are kind of top dog, and then you got 2 bottom feeders. Yes, the Raiders are a bottom feeder right now until they prove us different. And Arizona is still a bottom feeder right now because they just don't have a lot of that talent around them right now. They're still in quarterback purgatory. Who knows what's going to happen with them with the quarterback situation. So, they're still odd man out in that division. We're still odd man out in our division until proven otherwise. Did we get better? Who knows? On paper, yeah. But until the season starts and, the metal hits the road, and we'll see what happens. The rubber hits the road, we'll see what happens. So Mahomes is going to be running for his life on one leg for the rest of his career since the Chiefs won't be able to afford linemen. Again, that's where smart moves come in, and that's where your scouting department has to be thorough going forward, because you have to put a lot more faith in your scouting team, your scouting reports, because they have to find those gems late in the draft. It's not going to cost them money. It'll cost them a lot of money. A player that they can bring in for short money that's a rookie that's going to be there for 4 years pretty much. So there's a lot of things to do with this. There's more behind the scenes that they have to be conscientious of going forward. All teams have to be like that, But when you commit that kind of money to one player, you have to have your shit together and make sure what you're doing going forward is going to be for the betterment of your team. So could this come back and bite them in the ass at some point? Yeah, very well could. You got to look at another thing too. So Travis Kelce's re-signed for this year. I don't think he's signed long-term yet, if he's gonna. So once he's off the team, they're saving a ton of cap space right there alone. Now they have to get another type of tight end that's going to be half of what he is. If they bring a tight end that's half of what he is, they're still going to be just as good, because half of him is still a good tight end, a really good tight end. So their future is still bright for them. Their playoff window is still wide open. As long as Mahomes is there, their playoff window is open. And with the Rams, their playoff window is blown wide open right now with Myles Garrett coming in there. But there's a big but here, is the Stafford issue. If he stays healthy and can stay on his feet and stay in the games, they're my number one pick to win the Super Bowl next year, even before the season starts. They're just adding that one player makes that much of a difference with a roster. So what the fuck, Rush? Still waiting for the limited edition Shut Up Bueno shirt. Ooh, thank you. That's a good idea. I'd buy that shirt for sure. Where are we here with this? Nada. Just became a member of the channel. I appreciate you, brother. That means a lot, man. I appreciate everybody that are current members, anybody that just became a member recently, and anyone that's not a member. Just because you're not a member, you don't mean any less to me. Everybody in the chat means everything to me, because just like any other content creator probably says, and if they don't, they should be saying it. We are only here because you guys are here. When you guys are here, that's why we're here, because you guys are here. We're only here to do this. Let's put it this way. I don't have to do these things. Like, I don't have to do these shows, but I do it because of the interaction with you guys in the chat and the interaction with other people I do shows with, or I'm in the chat on other shows, like 805 show, their Sunday night show, their Wednesday night show, things like that. It's like, this is a community. I mean, you see how much this community picked up and got involved in the last week with the passing of Robert Pena. How much a guy like that means to this community. For people to actually, for content creators or people like myself to actually do shows based on the passing of a person that's in your chat, that says volumes about that person, and that says volumes about you guys. We're only here because you guys are here. Without you guys being in the chats, we wouldn't be doing these shows. So it takes the support of just being in the chat, whether you're a member or not. I give everybody equal opportunity in the chat. If you're not a member and you say something in the chat, I still highlight it. Doesn't make you any less than anybody else. So I 100% appreciate everybody that's been with me since I started, and anybody I've picked up even in the last week or two. Who knows? I appreciate every one of you. And fortunate for me, I'm going to get to meet a lot of you guys in person this year, and I am so looking forward to that. I cannot wait till I get out there and I meet some of the, like, I'm gonna hopefully meet Bueno. I'll meet D Menace. I would have met D Menace no matter what this season, because he's coming out to New York for the Jets game. But now I'm going to meet him even earlier because I'm going out there for week 1 and week 2, so I'm going to be able to meet him. Ben's coming down for the Chargers game. I'll be able to meet him. Afakasi's going to be out there. I'm going to finally get, because when am I going to get another chance to meet up with Afakasi? I'm so looking forward to meeting him in person too. There's going to be Bueno. Hopefully his ugly mug shows up. You guys that are out in the West Coast in the LA area, I hope I get the chance to meet you guys in person. I am so down for this. I cannot wait to get out there and just, put a face to the name and everything else that goes on. Rams are one injury away from me. Yeah. Shit, I'm here because you fellas are here. Haha, I love to hit ball. Yeah, and this is fun. You know what I mean? I enjoy doing this. And that's why I enjoy this show so much, because I can talk other than just Raiders. I can talk other teams, and I've got thoughts and ideas that I want to do with this channel. I may take a spin from this at another point and branch off and do a segment just covering some fantasy football stuff, because I'm a big fantasy football guy. I've been doing fantasy football since '91, before we started tracking stats. Like, when we only did it based on field goals, extra points, and touchdowns. That was it. 805, I only do it for Money Chuck. Money Chuck hasn't been around for a while, so I don't know what happened to him. I think we probably pissed him off enough. Love to be around, good folks. You're all my peeps. Yeah, definitely. I love you guys. This is a blast doing this shit. What's up, Anthony? What's going on, man? Get away. Me and Alex are gonna scoop you up. I'm sure like Willie Wayne will be down in that area. I don't know. I wish Sacktown Mike was able to come down for that, because that would be a blast too. Being able to meet him. Same. I won my first fantasy league with Priest Holmes. See? Marcus, do you live in Tennessee? Just out of question, just out of curiosity. One reason I'm asking is because hang on. Yeah. The reason I'm asking is because where is okay. Because when I fly out of, because I'm flying out of, oh, you're in Pennsylvania. Oh, that's right. You remember you telling me that too. That's right. Because I got to stop and I got to lay over in Nashville on my way out to Vegas. The return trip doesn't even matter anymore because I'm not flying back out of Vegas. I'm flying out of LAX this time. I actually reached out to Alfakasi. I told him, I said, because he said if he makes it to Vegas, he wants to stay an extra day or so in Vegas. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I've got no restraints. I can come and go. I don't have to go to work the next day or whatever. So if I want to stay an extra day in Vegas, I can. I told him, I said, let's rent a car and drive back to LA from Vegas. He goes, you don't want me driving? I said, no, I don't want you driving because I know you're going to drive on the left side of the road. I said, I'll drive. I'll drive us back to Vegas. So that would be fun because I would have the camera running the whole time because I think that would just be a treat, just the two of us together, just bullshit and everything. I think that would be funny. I think it would absolutely be a hilarious trip. You know, you get this Australian guy and, you know, this fat Northeaster with his accent, and I think it'd be hilarious. Most definitely tune into Fantasy Talk. Yeah, you know, and even if I can find, even if there's someone else that wants to do, that's been doing fantasy for a long time, that wants to do a joint show, I may even think about doing something like that. Culpepper was a rookie when I drafted him on my first team. Let me see who was around. Hang on, I'm going to answer something right now for you. So, there in 1991. That's not what I wanted to know. Let's see. That's better. All right. So basically, all right. So in 1991, yeah. So we're looking at in 91, there was, guys like Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders. Yeah. So I had Marshall Faulk not too long after that. I mean, so that's how far back I go. You know, I'm going all the way back to Barry Sanders in his prime, Thurman Thomas in his prime, Emmitt Smith. I mean, that's how long I've been doing fantasy football. So I think it was only a couple of years where we had one league, the league that started in 91. We took a 2-year hiatus and we just got back to it last year. So do the math on that. That's a long time. That's a long time that league was together. Marcus, you need to come out to IE so we can experience an Inland Empire show. Yeah, there you go. Don't mind. I'm down for whatever, bro. Oh, is that the end of the game? Did they win that? Is that over? Oh, yeah. Full time, 4-1. Yeah, we got one win, at least so far. Let's see. What's up, Gravy? Everything booked for the trip, Jeff. Thanks for your help, my guy. Ah, sweet, man. I can't wait to New York or Boston? Because I think the last time you and I talked, it was New York. I just want to make sure if you're still coming out for the New York one or the New England one. So anybody that is planning on coming out for the Raiders New England Patriots game, the Friday night party is going to be at the Tall Ship, and the Saturday night party is going to be it's in New York City. Okay, sweet. You know what? I'm going to do this right now. Okay, give me a second here, folks. I'm going to pull some stuff up on the screen so you guys can see what's going on. We're totally off script now, so pretty much we're most of the night anyway. So we have Let's start with the Patriots game. So here it is. Booyah. All right. So Saturday night in Boston, the pregame party is October 10th, 6 p.m. All fans are welcome. Doesn't matter what team you're at. But we're going to be at a location called Game On. That's the sports bar. It's actually part of the Fenway Park baseball park. Okay. So that's where we will be Saturday night starting at 6 o'clock. And there is access to the visiting team's batting cage inside downstairs. So they got like a whole downstairs bar set up and everything. So we'll have pretty much the run of the place from what it seems like. One of the other things we are doing the same day prior to the party is we're going to do a group Fenway Park group tour. So time is to be determined now. The party starts at 6. They run these tours every hour. Every half past each hour. So figure if we do this at 4:30, we'd be done at 5:30. Then we walk down. We leave the ballpark after the tour, walk down the street, and then go right back into the ballpark at Game On. So right now the tickets are $30 a piece for adults, ages 3 to 12 to $21 a piece. I'm working on getting that knocked down based on how many people are going to be there. So that's the Saturday in total. So we're going to have the Fenway Park group tour, and then we're going to go to this location right here for the night party. And Friday night is a location called the Tall Ship. Just let me bring that up, because that's where we're going to do the initial meet and greet on Friday night. Where is it? It did do one for that. Where the heck is it? No, that's not it. What the hell? Why can't I find this now? Oh, yeah, here it is. There we go. That's the Friday night party. It was starting from 6 to 9. The Tall Ship is open until 11, so we don't have to leave right at 9 o'clock. We can stay there as long as we want. But that's going to be the Saturday night initial meet and greet as fans stop pouring into Boston. So we're doing everything in the Boston area. We're not scheduling any events in Rhode Island this year. We're doing everything in Boston. I don't know what else is going on. But so there's that Friday night. Saturday is the group Fenway Park tour. And then Saturday night is the party at Game On. And anybody coming out to the Raiders and the Jets game, I've got that information also because I did set that one up. And here it is. Right here. So in New York City, it's actually going to be New Jersey, Raiders versus Jets weekend, the official Saturday night party, Halloween night at Red's. That's the name of the restaurant or bar. October 31st. They're open till 2 a.m. So we're going to go 6 o'clock till whenever. Costumes optional. You're all welcome to dress up. Free entry into the location. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have a live DJ. It's sponsored by the New York City TBH chapter, my New England chapter, the Jersey Shore Booster Club, and Raiders Against the World. It's in Carlsbad, New Jersey, which is literally right across the street from MetLife Stadium. So it's right there. So wear silver and black, bring the Halloween energy. So we're doing that Friday night. No, that Saturday night. Raider Nation Raw, Raiders Against the World, Raw Nation. They are planning on something for Friday night. So once that information comes out, I will definitely put that out there for everybody. But that's what's going on. So, and I do have, here's the shirts, just so you guys, I want you guys to see these. because I think the shirts are freaking badass. They came out good. I designed these. This is the shirts right now. Let me get rid of the banner. So the shirts are going for $24.99 plus shipping, and depending on what size you go with. So Raider Nation drops anchor in Boston, blackout New England 2026. Again, prices vary by size. Available up to 5X. All profits benefit the TBH chapter. So get yours now. So have it for the New England weekend. Or grab one to support the chapter and help us create the best experience possible for Raider Nation. So those are the shirts. That's what they look like. Yeah, dude. That's why I don't like for these shirts. I didn't, because we're gonna probably have some on hand too that weekend in person. So anybody that didn't get a chance to order one, I'm gonna try and have some on hand. I wanted to make it affordable, especially anybody coming out. You know, I try and I try not to overcharge or charge a lot for a lot of these shirts because I want to make it affordable for everybody. You know, because I have to factor in that they get shipped, so there's charge for shipping. There's charge based on your size too. You know, up to XL, it's the base amount, and anything 2X on up, you know, they're a little pricier. Like for me, I have to order, as Leo would say, the Samoan size. So it costs me a little bit more money for my shirts than it would for somebody, you know, like a skinny little bastards, you know. So, but those are the shirts that we have for the chapter to help support that weekend. So if anybody wants one, they're going to be limited run on these. So once that weekend's over, the shirts are coming off the store. It's strictly just for that weekend, you know, up until that weekend. So anybody coming out here, or even, like I said, even if you're not coming out here and you want to support the chapter, there it is. So let's see, who else just popped in? Someone else just popped in. Let's see. Oh, GFam's here. I've been talking so much, I totally missed it. What's up, GFam? What's going on, my guy? Let's see. Someone else just came in too, didn't they? I thought I saw another name pop in here. October 31st is my clean date. Oh, there you go. Congrats, man. 25, that's a steal. Rosetown, I'll give you $1. I'll give you $2. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a lot of people compliment me on those shirts. Actually, let me bring up a bigger image so you can see it even better. Exactly what they look like. Does that do it justice? Can you really tell? Is it the same? No, it's not even the same one. Hang on. I do have a better image of it. Actually, I'll just pull the logo up. That's actually the logo that's on the back of the shirts. That's what it looks like. Official New England chapter, established in 2016. This isn't the final edit because I had to rework the lettering on it because the lettering got a little screwy. But that's pretty much what it looks like. Jeff, I want one that has been worn by you, and I want autograph. I could do that. Let's see. The man, the myth, the legend. Jeff, I need that. I need that hat, my brother. Which one? This one? I'm working on changing the logo a little bit, I think. I think what I'm going to do going forward is I need to come up with a final version of my logo because sometimes I'm not happy with it. Like I like the way the back of the shirt looks, that logo that I use for that one, because I think that looks awesome. But I'm also a little biased, obviously. What I'm thinking about doing, just so you know, this is the shirt I have on right now. This is the actual logo. That's what it looks like. on the back of this shirt. That's exactly what it looks like, which I think is badass looking. But what I'm put that shirt on, Buff Jeff. No, thank you. What I'm thinking about doing is, because my trademark is this right here, is the mustache. So I'm thinking about changing the logo so my mustache is incorporated into it. Because again, that's like my thing, you know. So I'm having a hard time getting the right texture look to the mustache when I'm designing it. So it's going to take some work, but I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. Yeah, actually, Marcus, if you go down to the link in my description, the link for the store is in there. You'll see the hats, the different hats I have. Chief fam, thank you for the $5 super chat, brother. Support our Raider brother in his chapter by buying a shirt. Jeff puts in the work. Let's give him a little love, Raider Nation. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate the $5 super chat. And yeah, and if you guys don't want to buy a shirt, no big deal. I don't know. Just I wanted to put that out there as, you know, as options of what's out there, you know. But yeah, I appreciate you, G fam. Thank you, brother. 100%, man. That means a lot. What's up, IAG? USA won 4-1 tonight in the World Cup. Yes, sir. Now who do they play next? I don't even know. I have no clue. Soccer is not my forte. Too much running around. I could put the last 5 minutes out there. I would have to be on a steady dose of oxygen. Fuck that. It's too much running. I'd be done. All right. Well, I am going to get out of here for the evening. I've been on for now over 2 hours, and you guys pulled another half hour out of me. So you guys that came in late, you talked me into staying a little longer with you, and I appreciate that. See, that's how much I love you guys. I never want to leave sometimes, you know. Far cry from my past Friday night shows where we'd be on for like 8-9 hour shows. Don't miss those. I do not miss doing those. They were fun sometimes, but man, I don't miss doing those. So again, shout out to everybody that's been in here tonight. Shout out to my moderators. You guys put in a lot of work while you're in here, posting my links and such, and help keeping the chat clean and that. I appreciate that. And shout out to all my members, new members like Nada, and guys that have been members for a long time, like Marcus Banks, Bueno, Sacktown Mike. I appreciate you guys 100%. And special shout out to you guys like G Fam, doing a super chat. I appreciate that, brother. Every little bit that you guys do helps me keep expanding and upgrading and bringing more stuff to you guys on the shows that I'm involved in. So, and that's what this is all about. This is all about growing. And I've learned so much in the last year, self-taught type stuff, like trying to do things, you know, artwork style, and just the way I produce my shows. So constantly learning new stuff and expanding as much as I can. So make sure you guys have your notifications on. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the likes. The likes mean a lot, guys. I appreciate those. I'll be putting out some shorts from this in a little bit tonight too. And keep an eye out for Raiders First Downs and Donuts Duncan's. I don't know, Donuts Duncan. I don't know if they're going on this weekend or not, but keep an eye out for them. We'll be back on Tuesday night with the Most Notorious with myself and Will and Leo. And make sure, if you haven't already, get over to Silver and Black Podcast. That's Will's channel. He was, when we got off the air Tuesday night, I think he was eight subscribers away from hitting that 500 mark. So I want to get him to the 500. And looks like Wednesday night we're going to be back on the Raiders Connection. The Raider Connection with myself, Nate, LV Raider 10, Jay from Just Raiders Baby, and Leo. So we'll be back on Wednesday night. Nate and I'm not sure what we're doing on Thursday yet, but I will see you all next week. And as I always say, Stay safe. Go Raiders. And make sure you guys say your hellos and give your hugs to your parents if they're still with us. And stay safe, brothers.